Hey guys, Dan Bidondi, TruthRadioShow.com, and what you're looking at here is a constitution, a church constitution from a Presbyterian church. I'm not going to disclose the church right now or where I got it from. A friend of mine goes there, and he sent me this. So basically, them justifying Sunday worship. Now let's get into this here. Again, from a Presbyterian church constitution, and I want you at your churches to go look for your constitution in the church. Ask them, it's on the website, or they'll give it to you. But right here is saying, it is the law of our natural earthly life that some appropriate amount of time to be set aside for the worship of God. In His word, God has similarly commanded all men in every age to keep one day and 7 holy unto Him as a Sabbath. And right here they go, from the beginning of the world up into the resurrection of Christ, the Sabbath day was the last day of the week. Since the resurrection of Christ, it has been changed to the first day of the week, called the Lord's Day in Scripture, and is to be continued into the end of the world as Christian Sabbath. And this is the Bible verses they give you, but nowhere in Scripture at all does it say Sunday is the Lord's Day. Nowhere. Not one shred of Scripture, Old, New Testament, whatever, it doesn't ever say that, okay? And there's no such thing as a Christian Sabbath. There is no such thing as a Jewish Sabbath. In fact, the Bible calls it God's Sabbath, not a Christian, a Jewish. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to separate Christianity from Judaism. That's what they're trying to do, take Jesus out of His Jewish roots. But that's not the point. It's God's Sabbath, not a Christian or a Jewish Sabbath. It's not called the Lord's Day. Technically, Jesus rose on that Saturday at 3 p.m. They opened the tomb Sunday. They didn't open it Saturday night because it was a Sabbath. The Saturday afternoon, I'm sorry. Because it was a Sabbath, and they weren't allowed to do any such things. So Sunday morning when they woke up, Mary Magdalene ran over to see the tomb was empty. She seen Jesus in the Spirit. And they could open the tomb Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever the case. He would have been gone because he was already gone since Saturday the Sabbath. He didn't resurrect on Sunday. So that's where they all got this whole thing wrong. And nowhere in Scripture does it say Sunday is now called the Lord's Day in Scripture. And nowhere does it say that it's now the Christian Sabbath. Nowhere in the Bible does it say this stuff. Now here's the verses that they pulled up. And I'm going to go through each and every one of these. And all these verses do, because they know 99% of people are not even going to look at these. And if you look, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And these are the verses that they give me. And each one of these verses confirm Saturday, the 7th day, to be the Sabbath. Not one of these verses, as you can see here, at all say Sunday is the new Sabbath. Not one. Not one single verse. And this is ridiculous, folks. It really is. And this is Genesis. What do they give us here? Because I want to show people this. Genesis chapter 2, verses 2 and 3. And as you can see, Genesis chapter 2, verses 3 and 3, the 7th day is the Sabbath. And that's how ignorant they are. They blatantly give you the verses that tell you, yes, Saturday is the 7th day, it's a Sabbath. But yet, they tell you, twisting the words around to say, Sunday is the new Sabbath, it's the Christian Sabbath. No, there's no such thing as a Christian Sabbath. It's God's Sabbath. It's not a Jewish Sabbath, it's not a Christian Sabbath, it's God's Sabbath. Get that straight. And nowhere in Scripture does it ever state that it was changed. And here we are again. This is the 1 Corinthians they put. I should have actually highlighted that. So 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 1 through 2. And as you can see again, now concerning the collection of the saints, I have given order to the churches of Galatia to do so. Upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay by him in store as God has prospered him, that there be no gatherings when I come. Now, could anybody honestly tell me, at all, does that ever in any way indicate that the Sabbath day is now Sunday? This has nothing to do with the Sabbath. They would have specified, especially the 4th commandment in the Bible, honor the Sabbath day and keep it holy. That would be above anything, okay? That would be highlighted all through the New Testament. Not once does it say that. This has nothing to do with the Sabbath. And if you read the rest in its context here, you'll see it's nothing at all to do with the Sabbath. So see how they conveniently twist this verse, these two verses out of context? See, upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay by him in store as God has prospered him, that there be no gatherings when I come. Does that any way indicate at all that the Sabbath is now the first day of the week, Sunday? No. And we move on. The Acts, where are we here? Acts chapter 20, verse 7. Again, I should have highlighted these things. And here we go, right there. And upon the first day of the week, and this is where they manipulate scripture. Upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continue his speech until midnight. Now, you read in this context, and even the verse itself has nothing to do with the Sabbath. Not one shred of this document has to do with the Sabbath. It says the first day of the week, which is Sunday. That's not saying anything about changing the Sabbath to Sunday. It doesn't matter if they met and broke bread on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 years, whatever the heck it was. Saturday is the Sabbath. Does not say at all that it was changed to the first day of the week. That has nothing to do with the Sabbath right here. Don't you love how conveniently they put these verses together? And Matthew, where are you here? All right, Revelations, I'm trying to get through this here, 1:10. Revelations 1:10. And I was with the Spirit of the Lord on the Lord's day, and I heard behind me a great voice as a trumpet. The Lord's day. Wherein is this at all? It says it's Sunday, The Lord's day is the Sabbath day. It's the Saturday, It's Saturday, the seventh day of the week. Where does it say this in here? Now let's read it in this context. Could anybody tell me right here that this means it's Sunday? And if you read in this context, again, you could go look at it yourself in Revelation chapter 1, verse 10. Nothing to do with the first day of the week. Total manipulation right there. And Revelation expresses how important the Sabbath is on the seventh day. Then they highlighted Exodus 20. Again, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And right there, this is why, let me show you real quick. Exodus 20, they want you to read Exodus 20, verses 8 and 10 only. Check this out. This is manipulation. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy, and go right to 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath day of the Lord. And though they do not work, and look, 6 days they shall do labor. Or they leave this out purposely. And even though they already mentioned this, but still it says the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord. In it you do no work or anything like that. And where does this at all indicate anything to do when it's this context here? For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and the sea, and the seventh day is the Lord's day. He hallowed it. Where does it say that Sunday, the first day of the week, is the new Sabbath? Where? And these are the verses that the churches are giving you. Because they know 99% people, 99.99% people, are not even going to challenge us. Oh, look, there's Bible verses. They must be telling the truth. But did you actually look at these verses? Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 and 18. Oops, did I get that right? Yeah, okay. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 and 18. So let's go to Matthew chapter 5. There we go, I did highlight it. Okay. Think that I come not to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy it, but to fulfill it. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall not in no wise pass from the law till it all be fulfilled. And right here, whoever breaks and they don't highlight this though, and this has nothing to do with what they're talking about at all. There's no way indicates anything to do with Sunday being a Sabbath. And right here, whoever breaks these commandments will be called the least, and also whoever teaches these commandments will be called the highest, most in heaven. I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to read through a camera here, so I apologize about this. So again, let me read it. Whoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, which they're doing, they're teaching to break the fourth commandment, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So they're teaching you to break the commandments. And again, those verses you've seen off their own constitution, and go look at them for yourself, pause this video, get the verses, go look at them yourself, and read the verses in their context. That means the paragraph or the chapter. And every single one of them have nothing absolutely to do with the Sabbath day now being on the beginning of the week. And again, let's go, now you've seen what the Bible said, right? Now let's see what they have to say. It's a law of our natural earthly life. At some appropriate amount of time that be set aside for the Lord, the worship of God, and His word has similarity commanded that all men in every age to keep one day in 7 holy unto Him as the Sabbath. From the beginning of the world up to the resurrection of Christ, this Sabbath was the last day of the week. Since the resurrection of Christ, it has been changed to the first day of the week, called the Lord's Day in Scripture, and is to be continued to the end of the world as the Christian Sabbath. Nowhere in the Bible does it say Sunday is the Lord's Day. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that it's a Christian Sabbath. There's no such thing as a Christian or a Jewish Sabbath. It's God's Sabbath, plain and simple. Nowhere in the Bible does it say it's a Jewish Sabbath on a Saturday, or Sunday a Christian Sabbath. The Sabbath is God's, not Jews or Christians or anybody else. It's God's day. Nowhere in the Bible does it say any such things. Yeah. So these people need to really get behind the Scripture, and they openly put the Scripture out there because, again, they know most people ain't going to challenge it. They throw Bible verses out of context, and there you have it. And that's why people worship on the day of sun worship. This is Dan Bidondi for TruthRadioShow.com, exposing the deeds of evil and these false religions. And the Sabbath, as the Bible declares, it's when the sun sets on Friday, that becomes the new day. And from that point to sunset on Saturday is the Sabbath day. And the Jews to this still day, they got it right. So don't separate the Christians from the Jews because it's all the same, folks. The Sabbath day was, is, and always will be forever, as God says, forever, His day of rest and worship. Dan Bidondi, God bless, and shalom. Declaring war on the New World Order, TruthRadioShow.com.